Good morning, it's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to share some guidance and pull some cards for this week ahead. That's this week starting Monday the 27th of December through till Sunday the 2nd of January 2022. Awesome. Very excited to be sharing the guidance this week as we transition into a brand new year. And there's something very powerful to me in the feeling of 2022. So let's see what this transitional week potentially brings. So while you're coming in and getting settled, I want to send out an extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light family, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for supporting my work and helping me be able to keep doing my work full time and bringing these sorts of videos out to you and others. So thank you so much. So if you're new to watching, welcome. Let us know if you're new so we can welcome you. And I am going to say hello in the comments in just a moment. So please say hello, send some love. Let us know where you are watching from or what have you. And I'll do some comment shouts in a moment. Before I do, I am coming to you live now from Tasmania, Australia. It is Monday the 27th of December here at exactly 11:29 a.m. So welcome. So let's do some shout outs and we'll get started. Dawn is here, good morning. And Sharon, hello. Hello, Granella and Tori. Robin, hello. Hi, Kim and Siobhan. Erica's here from Cali, welcome. Lisbeth from Denmark, welcome to you. We've got Bettina from Brisbane, good morning. And Annie from Newcastle, welcome. Josephine says, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. I sure did, and I trust you have too. Welcome. Good morning, Judy and Hillary from Pennsylvania. We've got Laurie here from California, welcome, and Melissa from Chicago. Jamie is here, good morning, Jamie. And Kathleen. Josephine is here from Northern California. Annette is here from Perth, Western Australia, and Suzanne is also from California, and it's Suzanne's birthday on the 27th, which is actually today for me, so technically today, my time, in your future is your birthday. So happy birthday for today or tomorrow in your case. But welcome. Hello, Angela, Lindsay, and Catherine is here from Michigan. Welcome, everybody. And everybody who's watching who doesn't want to comment. I totally understand if you don't want to. So what we'll be doing today, for those of you who are new to watching, I'm going to be using my my decks of cards here. I made these decks and I've made them the same size so I can combine these two decks together. So we have two decks, the Speed of Light Oracle and my Animal Kingdom Oracle cards. So we have 110 cards in this deck, which is lots of fun to work with. My favourite deck for doing card readings. So I'll be using this deck to find the best cards for the majority of us for this week ahead. I'm not doing personal readings. I come together in this space to create a general reading for those who are connecting. I do trust 100% that you've been led here for a reason, and I trust that something shared will support you at this time and for this week to come, hopefully. If something doesn't support you, or not everything will likely resonate, so the things that don't, just let them go. Really notice the things that speak personally to you, as if I'm speaking just directly to you, and it's not general stuff, it's probably quite specific. So you can listen to those things and then carry them into your life, work with them, use that information to help support you and guide you moving forward. So think of everything as a guide, and let's allow ourselves to be surprised. So I think we'll get started. So while I'm shuffling and preparing, just a recap of last week's theme card. Last week's theme was the Twin Flame card, which talked about connections, seeing eye to eye with another person or other people, and an effort that was required in relationships, and relationships of any kind, from our closest relationships to our acquaintance sort of connections that we may have had last week. So did you notice an increase or a strong sense of connection between you and another person, or you and a couple of other people last week? Because that was our theme. So we'll get to our theme for this week towards the end of the video, but for now I'm shuffling and I'm holding the intention that I want to find the best cards for this week ahead for the majority of us, starting Monday the 27th of December 2021 through till Sunday the 2nd of January 2022. So let's see, what do we need to know for this week ahead? So just shuffling my cards, holding this intention and preparing to select the cards the way I always do. So I'm going to split the deck and lay the cards out here beside me, face down, and we're doing a U shape. So we'll go down and up, and we're going to put a card in the middle. So we have 6 Animal Kingdom Oracle cards and 2 Speed of Light. So welcome. Let's see what they are. Okay, let's turn these over. And I don't know, I don't want to pull that middle one. It's an Animal Kingdom. I don't want to turn that yet. So we have 6, 7 cards, no featured cards, no dragons. And we've got one that's still upside down in the middle. So I feel that as I go through the week, we will turn that card over at some point or towards the end. I don't know yet. So we've got a mysterious card here in the center. But the first card for this week is a card we had last week. It's card 47 called Persistence. And it says down here, it says patience, solution, question, answer, and night. So this is reminding us to be patient and persistent early this week. It's not the time to give up. So this card very much highlights, let's be careful that we're not giving up on things early this week. So there might be something or some things in our life where we are fed up, we've had enough, maybe we feel like we've put a lot of effort in and we're not seeing much return. So this type of feeling of, oh, do I still want to continue this? And for some things that we consider or feel that way, it may require us to close a door. We'll see if any doors closing come up through the week ahead to also clarify that. But mainly with this card, it's about not giving up. So it might not be the time early this week to make a hasty door slamming closed, that's the end of that decision. It may be something we want to sit on for a couple of days at least and see if we still feel the same way later in the week. So just the general feel about this card, it is solution based. It does bring that energy of being patient and being persistent and not giving up, keeping our dreams active. My daddy's watching. Hi, Dad. And Carolyn over there in Western Australia. Welcome. And I trust you had a happy birthday yesterday. Yeah, so even though we might want to slam some doors closed on some things that we're just fed up with early this week, we might find it better to bide our time and just to practice a bit of patience and persistence to see it through. So let's see how we need to exercise that early this week. And then we move into Tuesday. So Tuesday the 28th of December. And we have the Tiger Shark, card 20. And the Tiger Shark here says to open your heart. So we're being encouraged, and we might just feel it on Tuesday, around Tuesday, quite open in the heart. And it sometimes brings a vulnerability. As you can see in this illustration, it's like the fish here, the shark is exposing its most vulnerable parts, its sensitive underbelly. So we might feel a bit exposed, we might feel a bit vulnerable or fragile or sensitive early in the week, especially around Tuesday. But what we've been encouraged to do is work with that energy, that sensitivity, to keep our heart open so we don't close our heart off and become too rigid or set in stone or too hard, too harsh in our heart. So there is a softness, an opening, but also potential vulnerability there around Tuesday. And then we move into Wednesday. So Wednesday the 29th, and there seems to be a bit of a shell that might come over us because we have the turtle here. So before I talk about the turtle, that makes me feel that this sensitivity we might feel on Tuesday may have us come in and harden our heart, because this feels like a shell, this turtle, a shell that we're bringing in and putting over ourselves, especially our heart, to protect ourselves, or so that we don't feel that vulnerability and sensitivity and rawness and fragility that we may feel around Tuesday. So there may be a natural reaction to just sort of harden things up and close ourselves off a little bit or a lot. But the turtle itself here is card 45, and it says it says slow and steady, to find our steady pace. But I'm very much drawn to this shell. So we might feel a bit guarded, a bit on guard, or a bit sort of hardened in the heart, Tuesday into Wednesday. And we might find that we need to establish a slow, it doesn't have to be slow, but it could be a slow and steady pace, or just a pace that works for us. We may not feel like we want to move quickly, for example, around this day, but we might feel a bit sort of slow and steady in our movements, in our interactions and things. And then that takes us to Thursday, the 30th, and there's more vulnerability here. We have card 55, and it's the jellyfish. It says vulnerable, flow, sensitive, and protection. So this sort of gathers together this energy from Tuesday, Wednesday, and now Thursday. That is potentially a sensitivity, a vulnerability, feeling fragile, but also this sort of hardened shell that I talked about with the turtle feels a bit protective, which is what this jellyfish card also highlights. So we might find this bunch of days, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday at least, sensitivity, and maybe this swinging, this toing and froing of feeling sensitive and connected and loving and flowing, and then feeling harsh and protective and on guard. So we might feel a bit of this swinging that happens over these few days. Now I'm drawn to this card that I haven't turned yet, so I'm just going to face it to you. So I feel like I want to grab this now. It's this. It is one of the dragons. It's the water dragon, card 24, and it says to diving into new depths. So what this actually brings is opportunity in this sensitive, watery, on guard, kind of protective energy that I've been talking about. This is also bringing water element, so it's bringing a highlight to our emotions, but this is a powerful card in that there's an opportunity in diving into our emotions and how we feel to uncover something. It might be to remember who we are, so the penny will drop on something, so we get that epiphany, an understanding of why we feel a certain way, or why this has occurred, or why we have to guard ourselves. So it feels to be an opportunity in the sensitivity, if, and that's a big bold if we are willing to explore and dive into our emotional realm, our inner ocean, if you like. So if we don't do that, we might find that we get a bit guarded. We might feel a bit distant between ourselves and others, at least early in this week. But opportunity with the dragon here to use our emotions as an opportunity to explore things, to heal, to uncover things that we didn't see before. So, quite emotional healing it feels like. And then things shift. So Friday, the 31st, the last day of the year, we have card 1, the stallion, which I find highly motivating. The stallion says to untie yourself. I think we may have had this card last week too. And this is about setting our wild spirit free. There is more of a mental energy with this, whereas the other days, except for the persistence card that I talked about early in the week, which feels a bit more mental, these other days feel very emotional potentially. But when we move to Friday, there is a mental shift, it feels like, where we probably feel a revived sense of motivation or action or energy to pursue something or to move forward. This could be motivation to move into the new year, for example. It could be a motivation to move out of the old stuff that we've been sort of buried in or trudging through this year, and to sort of have the intention mentally to leave that energy behind. And in fact, it feels very trudgy, like mud, like really wet mud. So this probably represents a lot of emotional, muddy stuff that we've been carrying or collecting this year, that we've been feeling stuck in, like we're stuck in quicksand or stuck in cement or concrete that's setting. So there is a potential at the very end of the year on Friday to motivate ourselves mentally to move out of that sludgy stuff and into the fresh new start of the new year, so 2022. So letting our freeing our wild spirit, untying ourselves from the parts of our past, the parts of our life. It might even be recent past. You know, the last couple of months may have been really difficult for you, or the last couple of weeks. And there may be this shift where you're inspired to leave some of that just in 2021 and start afresh in the new year. So that sort of energy is quite strong. And then we move to Saturday, the 1st of January, and we have the frog. The frog is card 34, and it says to cleanse your environment. Cleanse your environment. So there is a feeling here that some of us on the 1st of January, which is Saturday, might feel this urge to clear and purge. We might have a rush of spring cleaning that we want to do, or a clearing, a sorting out of things physically, maybe things on our device. I've already cleared out my old notes from this year and my old photos that I don't really need, that have been accumulating. I've done a big clear out of those. I'm also doing a big clear out of Facebook things, Facebook friends, Facebook pages that I don't resonate with any longer. I've already started purging that. So some of us may feel this already building up, but there is a strong sort of pointing to a strong focus or target that's being pointed to the 1st of January. So you might feel you need to clear, to cleanse, to purge. There is an emotional energy here too. So there might be this sort of, like I said, leaving that sludgy energy behind in 2021 and starting afresh. We've really got to, it's easy to say these things, but to apply it and then to have it last, to have it become our reality, that's the tricky part. Otherwise we could say we're putting all that behind us, and then we wake up the next day, which is the next year, the 1st of January, and we're still feeling that same heavy, sludgy, emotional energy. And then we might feel, not very motivated because it hasn't really worked for us. So there is a feeling with this frog card that it's about maintaining that shift and that clearing out that we probably focus a fair bit on the 31st or even the few days leading up. So to clear, to purge, to maintain our intention of leaving the old sludgy stuff behind and stepping into some nice fresh open air that's before us for this new year. And then Sunday the 2nd of January, we have card 51 called Shelter, and it says to seek safe shelter. So what this highlights very much is the energy of the home, but for some of us we may not feel safe in our home. So it may be a room like our bedroom, it may be a car or a vehicle that we have where we feel sort of safe to be ourselves or to let things out there. It may be a place in nature, it may be somewhere inside where we feel is home, or where we feel connected, where we can really be ourselves and we feel safe to be who we are. So this safety of the home, or the safety of the shelter, and whatever that represents, feels to be important for Sunday for some of us. So we would probably retreat to this place for healing, for reflection, for resting, and for really opening up in a vulnerable way to ourselves. So being really honest with how we feel on Sunday. So in general, what I'm feeling for this week is it's probably going to be quite heightened emotionally, and there might be some ups and downs of energy emotionally too, where we probably feel quite connected and quite stable emotionally, and then the bottom may drop out of that and we might feel hollow and empty and alone, and maybe even quite low in our energy levels too, emotionally. So there's potentially a swinging that's coming up. And what I feel is going to be really important is that we stay super aware of what we're feeling. Try not to push our feelings away, but listen to them, give them space to be, I suppose, by hearing them, connecting with them, and then letting the emotion move and flow to the next emotion. Because remember, like I say a lot, because I think we need to be reminded sometimes, emotions want to be in motion. So it's normal for feelings to move from one intense feeling to another feeling, and then another feeling and another feeling. This is how emotions move. If we get stuck in an emotion, usually it's because we're not feeling it, or we're not really fully feeling it, or we're not letting it move to a new feeling. So we're sticking ourselves in it. So let's be really careful of that this week, that we don't get stuck or stagnant in our feelings, which will then create a pendulum swinging, an imbalance of emotion. So let's feel our way through. Let's use our mind and the power of our mind to support our movement through too. We might have to step up and motivate ourselves. We might need to step up and just focus on something and maybe distract ourselves with something, or redirect our attention onto something. So mentally, it feels our mental and our emotional energy working together with those this week will probably be quite supportive. So that's what I'm feeling for this week. Let's see how we go. Thank you so much for joining me. I am going to pull a card to go. So before I do, I want to encourage you, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment or share if you're inspired to. And if you would love to connect more privately, please send us a message through our website. So I have some new things coming up. I am definitely in big 2022 prep, and I'm in big high motivation mode. So I'm about to start something brand new coming up in January, which is an online card reading club. So if you want to work with your cards more deeply, to practice, to learn, to develop for personal guidance, so that your cards, whatever cards you like to use, can support you and guide you and help. You can help, interpret those as clearly as possible. Or if you're wanting to do your card readings on a professional level, then you'll probably find it exciting. So it's going to be monthly, 6 months trial starting towards the end of January. So keep an eye out for that. But you comment below if you might be interested. I can send you the link when I do open it on the website. And we have our new online art classes starting up in January too. Our first one later in January is going to be exploring the theme shadow. So we're going to be looking at the shadow energy and exploring that through art. So quite healing, quite deep potentially. And then from February, the art classes are going to go into a chakra theme. So we're going to spend 7 months, that's 7 art classes, exploring the chakras one at a time. So we'll look at the energy of that, how it relates, how it connects with our life, with our body, with whatever that particular area is. And then we're going to dive into some creating around that particular chakra. So there's a lot we can learn about ourselves by understanding the chakras. I found them very valuable with my self-healing and helping me grow and improve my life. So they're coming up, and lots of other things. Please check out my website at templeofbalance.com.au. You can find both of these card decks there, and loads and loads and loads of other stuff. So please check it out if you're inspired to. Let's see what the theme card is as we turn, change, transition, transform from one year to the next. You might find you've been reflecting on this year. It's a great thing to do. What's been the general theme? Not what you think you should have felt or think your theme has been this year, but what has your theme really been this year? How has it been for you? And what do you need to leave behind as the year changes over? And what can you bring with you to continue on or to grow from? Or things that you started that you want to continue in the new year. So this is a very exciting week for healing and for refocusing. So our best card for the theme for this week, the 27th through to the 2nd of January 2022, is this. Okay, it's a Speed of Light Oracle card. Ah, yes. This is really pretty much what I was just talking about. It's card 10, called Action Taking. And down here it says move on, horizon, forward, let go. So let's talk about this some more. This is highly motivating card, I find, and very healing. This is about allowing the sun to set on old parts of our life this week, so that the sun can rise on new parts of our life that want to open up and want to become a part of our experience. In other words, we can say, this week it may be important to look at some doors that we need to close, especially the doors that want to close that we've been keeping propped open with our foot. Maybe we're scared to close that door. Maybe we're scared to move on. Maybe we don't want to hurt other people. Maybe we're scared of what's ahead. So part of us is still in that old situation. So we're being encouraged this week to really move our foot out of the door and stopping the door from closing. Those natural doors that want to close, and let the doors close. They don't feel they need to slam. They don't feel they need to be forced, but they've been naturally closing for a while. So what's been naturally coming to an end for these last weeks or months that you've been avoiding or denying through your own fear or what have you? Or maybe even a lack of readiness to move on. So think about the doors that want to close, or the sun that wants to set on those old parts of our life this week, so that the sun can rise and so that we can walk into some new doors moving forward. So there is this out of with the old and in with the new energy. There's a lot of action with this card, a lot of action and movement. So we might feel quite motivated, and looking at the other cards, we might feel quite emotionally motivated to close some doors. We might feel quite emotionally motivated to open some doors, or to get some balls rolling on things. I've already been making my action plan. I've got a big action plan for the next 6 months. And I feel really motivated by that, so I'm running with it. So I've got an action plan. I've got 3 pieces of paper with lists of what my action plans are. And for the last 2 days, I've been refining that action plan. And I'm ready to start taking action, maybe later today, or tomorrow. But the next couple of days I'll be taking action. So maybe for you too, you might be inspired this week to think about, what is my action plan? Maybe your action plan is to close some old doors, or to let the sun set on some things. Maybe your action plan is to start looking ahead now. What can you create? What can you do? Now, for some of us in some situations, we just can't look ahead too far. You might not be able to look ahead 6 months, because in some realities for us, in some time periods, it's just not practical. For me right now it is, and I feel motivated by it, so I'm going to run with it. But you may not feel motivated to look that far ahead. So for you, it may just be getting through your days, to be patient with yourself, go gently as you heal, as you let things go, as you sort of swim in your inner oceans and inner emotional space and emotional realm, as you work out and get clarity on what you need. That motivation energy that I'm feeling, which is very much like this card, this action energy, is very motivating, and with motivation comes clarity and confidence. So I'm feeling personally right now very motivated, very clear about what I want to do, and very confident in that too. So I feel like this week too, I could make some phone calls, I could reach out to places or people that I want to see if there's some opportunities I can create for myself. So this is the sort of thing that I'll be certainly diving into this week. So action taking is our theme. Action, movement, look to the horizon, let the past go, and let's allow ourselves this week to move on, because the energy is very favourable for moving on. Can you let yourself move on? Can you free yourself of the recent or distant past that you've been carrying and dragging with you for too long now? so that you can lighten your load as you walk into the new year. So that are the sorts of things we might be thinking of. So thank you so much for connecting today. Happy birthday, happy anniversary if you're celebrating this week, and a big, big happy new year to all of you all of us who are going into a new year this year. I love these transitional weeks. So let's see how we can work with the energy. I will most likely be back through the week because I'm sure the energy is going to be quite high, and so keep an eye out for my healing and support videos over these next few days, and yeah, enjoy. Thank you so much for a great 2021, and I will see you in the new year if I don't see you beforehand. Take care of yourself, and namaste. Namaste means that the divine, the creator in me, honours and acknowledges the divine, the creator in you. We are equal, we are one. So thank you for being who you are, and have a safe, healthy and happy journey into 2022.